Good afternoon, grinders. This is your MLB SimLabs analysis for Tuesday, April 22nd. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD, BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, and we have SimLabs up for today on this 10-game slate, big slate today. Some good contests, some decent totals, right? We got that the Rangers Athletics game has a 10.5 total. We got Kansas City 4.86, Minnesota 5.32, Atlanta 4.66, a couple in the fours, and then obviously some very good pitching matchups today. Let's talk about that. I always like looking at the optimal versus projected ownership tab here. What pitchers are under-owned? What pitchers are over-owned? The top raw points projected pitcher we have here at RotoGrinders is actually Chris Bubic at 8,900 against the Rockies. The 3.14 implied team total. No question about that. He's fully stretched out. He actually has the highest strikeout prop on the board at 7.5. We also have Chris Bassett, 9K. Bailey Ober, who's going to be popular today against the White Sox. He has the second highest point projection. Then Christian Sanchez against the Mets. Those are the ones that stand out. Then we get like Jose Soriano, Brandon Pfaadt, maybe just Dustin May. Shota Imanaga has a decent enough projection, but his optimal rate is a little bit low. Our highest optimal rate pitchers today are Christian Sanchez, Bubic, Bassett, Ober, and Dustin May. So you see here, Dustin May we have at only 10% projected owned, 10.5. A little under-owned. We have his optimal rate at about 18%. And even though like Chris Bubic, we have at 25% projected owned, we actually have him as under-owned. If he comes in more like 35 or 40%, then he would be over-owned. So depending on your constructions, I think it'll be spread out a decent amount. I think Bailey Ober, that we would Bailey Ober as the over-owned pitcher, even though he has the fourth highest optimal rate according to our sims. If he's going to be like 35% owned, we only have him at about 19-20% chance to be optimal. So probably get a little bit less of Bailey Ober today, even though at 6,900, that's a pretty good price for being the second highest raw point from a median perspective pitcher on the slate. He is the second highest strikeout prop at 6.5. So, I mean, not a bad play. Probably wouldn't pair Ober with some of the chalkier stack options on the slate. I go to the DraftKings top stacks tool we have here at RotoGrinders. We got the Dodgers. The Dodgers' highest chance of being optimal, even though they've a quote bad matchup against Shota Imanaga. You got to look at the weather there as well. The Dodgers and Cubs. Roth doesn't have it as a PPD risk as much, but he does have it at yellow. And we also have to take a look at the Atlanta game, although we're probably going to be looking at bats in that game more than pitchers. Definitely tune in later today to Grinders Live and Crunch Time. Kevin Roth will be on Crunch Time with all the latest radar updates for you. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to always know when we go live with that. As you see, my voice is getting better, and that's probably because you've been hitting the like button. So thank you very much. Hit the like button while you're here. So going back to the stacks tool, we got the Royals. Probably the Sims are probably going to like the Royals and the Twins more today. We have the Royals at the second highest optimal rate, 15.55%, but good value. If you take a look at their lineup here on our starting lineups page, outside of like Bobby Witt, I mean, the Royals are pretty cheap, right? We have the Royals have almost a 5-point implied team total, right? 4.83. And outside of Bobby Witt, I mean, you got India at 3,500, Pascatino 3,800, Sal Perez 3,800, Michael Garcia 4K, Massey 2,900. Like you could always throw in a Renfroe or Drew Waters towards the bottom of the lineup against Ryan Feltner. So that's going to come up. And the same for the Twins over here. Like Byron Buxton, maybe like the overall top play on the entire slate, I think. We have his median projection at almost 12. and he's 4,700 in the outfield. And then the rest of their lineup is cheap as hell, right? Correa, 3,600. Larnach, 3,100. Julien, 3,200. Ty France at 3,300 should be popular. Obviously, some of these guys maybe, you got some platoon splits here. As far as like a guy like Larnach, as far as like at bats. I mean, he may be replaced later in the game by a right-handed hitter, but they look good as far as like value plus optimal rate. And then we got teams like the Dodgers against Imanaga, probably not as popular, even though I mean they only have a 4.37 implied total. So I mean it's not a great spot for them, but they are the Dodgers, so they could always go off. And same thing you could say for the Phillies against the Mets. They have a 4.23 implied team total, but we have their optimal rate at 13%, and they're expensive. So I mean, you're going to be playing, I mean, you could fit in with some cheap one-offs. You could play like a Bubic Ober lineup there. I mean, I don't know if there's really like cheap pitchers on the slate to necessarily play. I mean, even guys like Jose Soriano or Brandon Pfaadt, they're in the 8K range. So it's going to be tough. I mean, no one's like 10K or anything at pitcher, but it's going to be tough without Ober to kind of like, I mean, Ober's 6,900, so he's not like cheap and either. So it's going to kind of be tough to pay up for some of these stacks. Then we got, like the Angels against Bailey Falter, Toronto against Ronald Blanco. They're okay. We can see here with the optimal rate versus ownership percentage, which will be reflected in the Sims. We have the Royals as actually underowned today. We have the Phillies obviously underowned. We have the Angels a little bit overowned. The Twins a little bit overowned. The Twins may end up being like mega chalk. I don't know. Between the Royals and the Twins, I think more people are going to pay for Byron Buxton than Bobby Witt today at shortstop, especially with like Correa in the lineup under 4K. I think the Twins may end up actually being much higher owned than even we expect them to be. And then like Texas, we have as overowned. We have like that Texas Athletics game. We have as overowned, even though Texas is a much better value. I'd be much more inclined to play them tonight than the Athletics. But let's go to SimLabs. Large field contests today. Let's go to large field contests and let's see what happens. I'm going to lock in a 5-man stack because it is 10 game slate, right? 20 teams with a chance of putting up a hell of a lot of runs. So most likely a 5-man stack. It's gonna. I mean, even if I turn this off, with the simulation settings, with the simulation weight being high, which it should be, we're gonna get a lot of stacks as it is. But yeah, I'm gonna turn up ownership weight a bit more to get more more under-owned players versus their optimal rate versus over-owned players. That's kind of what the ownership weight is here. Just up a little bit. So I'm probably gonna get less Ober now and more of like Bubic, May. I mean, the Sims are saying Patrick Corbin at 6K is under-owned. We have his optimal rate is only 8%, but if he's gonna be like 3% owned, no one likes playing Patrick Corbin. I typically like stacking against Patrick Corbin. But yeah, good luck playing the pitcher against the highest team total team on the entire slate. But hey, sometimes you can't argue with the Sims. I mean, he's cheap enough that if he puts up 12 points and you get the right stack, he's good. But I don't know. I think I'm much more likely to play, Bubic, May. Like, I think probably I'm going to play Bubic over Bubic, Bassett. I mean, against the Astros only have a 4-point team total, and Bassett will look great this year. So maybe does he come in? We have him at like 19% projected own. Maybe he actually comes in a little bit higher. I don't know. I think just it's going to be a little bit more spread out. We have all these pitchers between 8K and 9K, and not all that dramatically separating them. I still think, Christian Sanchez, Bubic, Bassett, Ober, those are going to be the top options on the slate. But I'm going to run 150 lineups and see what happens. Let's see what we're getting more or less of in this run. Even though you don't have to play 150 lineups. Remember, I run just to see. I use this as a research tool. I'm probably going to play 3 to 5 lineups tonight in large field contests and I'm going to use SimLabs. This is what I do on these videos Monday through Wednesday, is basically show how I research what lineups I want to play, right? And what shows up more than others, and then putting in your own kind of takes into it. So if I don't want to play Bailey Ober, I don't have to play Bailey Ober. I could just look at the non-Bailey Ober lineups. If I want to play a Royal stack, I could just look at Royal stacks. And obviously, I could save whatever lineups I want in here. I could sort them out. I could look at exposures. I could sync them to Lineup HQ. Obviously, download them via CSV and upload them to DraftKings. But looking at the exposures here in 150 lineups, you see here we're we're still getting a lot of Bailey Ober lineups. So even though we have him as the most over-owned pitcher on the slate, he's 6,900 against the White Sox, and he has like a 6.5 strikeout prop. We have him at 87 pitches, so a little bit lower than some of the other pitchers. But for 6,900, he could easily get 20 points. So, I don't mind Ober, even though he's probably going to be over-owned. Even though Dustin May we have as the most under-owned pitcher, it's not like we're getting that much of him, right? At his price, at 8,800 against the Cubs, right? The Cubs are a decent enough team. And then we look at, stacks. We're getting obviously 5-man stacks. And we're getting a lot of Dodgers against Imanaga. From an ownership perspective, I don't think it's that bad, right? Dodgers, Twins, Royals, Rangers, all the teams that I mentioned before. All the teams. If we look the top stacks, Tool over here. Maybe no. Where's Philadelphia? Are we getting Philly? Yeah, we're still getting 5% Phillies here, right? So you could look at these lineups. Obviously, here's a Kansas City stack, right? There's nothing wrong with this. This is a perfectly good lineup that I would play, and this has Bailey Ober in it. Right? Chris Bassett, Bailey Ober. Disregard the Bassett projected ownership. That's obviously Jose Soriano. There must have been an update. So the total ownership here, display wise, is not correct. Right? Bailey Ober is not going to be 96.8% owned. Right? They're probably just in the middle of an update to update the display. The lineups are the lineups, so it doesn't matter. But you get Bassett, Ober. Then you play, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Right? So you get India, Witt, Pascantino, Perez, Drew Waters, and then you play Tommy Edman, Shohei Ohtani, which you can never go wrong with, Lourdes Gurriel. Right? No Byron Buxton is a one-off here, if you notice. Right? Here's another one with the very similar Kansas City stack with Renfroe and Michael Massey. Then Soler and Gifo, Brent Rooker as a one-off here. So I think Buxton is going to take a lot of ownership at 4,700 as a one-off for the Twins. I think I'm much more likely to play Buxton in a stack more so than as a one-off, only because I think he's going to be a very popular one-off. And I could also probably say the same thing about Bobby Witt. Right? If Bobby Witt does really well, it's probably the Kansas City stack has gone off. So you want the whole stack. If Byron Buxton has done well, the Twin stack probably went off. With the prices that they're at, with the rest of the lineup there, that's probably true. So that's what I would probably be looking for. By playing Byron Buxton or Bobby Witt as not as one-offs, but in the midst of a stack. Right? Here's Bubit Sanchez. We get Jeffers, Julian, Brooks Lee, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Edmund Freeman, and then Jackson Chourio as a one-off. The Sims like the Dodgers today. I know it sounds weird against Shota Imanaga. Obviously, with the weather stuff. Don't play the Dodgers if the game is it's 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check into crunch time and see what Roth says. But that actually may lower ownership if people are scared to play that game. But if I'm playing, I'm going to play 3 to 5 lineups today. I will be playing a Dodgers lineup. Okay, definitely. Let Sim say to play the Dodgers. I'm playing the Dodgers, right? So I'm probably playing a Dodgers lineup, Royals lineup, Twins lineup. But probably the way I get different is just making sure my Royals lineup I'm playing Witt, Twins lineup I'm playing Buxton, but I'm not playing them as one-offs elsewhere. The Dodgers you can play as one-offs. The Dodgers aren't going to be as popular. And then let's take a look, maybe some Rangers lineups. So you could go here. I could even lock the team stack in. Texas. I could even take out and exclude like Bailey Ober if I want, right? And just look at those lineups. I could look at 150. I could look at 20, right? So let's look at 20 lineups. Texas Rangers stacks without Ober. What does the rest of the lineup look like? What does the full lineup look like? And how is it rated in our sims? So you can put in all the combinations that you want, right? Okay, this isn't that bad. 85s, 85s, 84s. This is good. This is totally good, right? Bubic Sanchez, right? I don't mind this. Here's a 5-3 Rangers Dodgers. Bubic Sanchez, and he played Jake Berger, Marcus Semien, Josh Smith, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, and you get good Dodgers in the lineup, right? Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith. Done. No problem with this lineup whatsoever. I mean, I could literally just save this lineup and go, I'll take a look at that later. As one of the candidates for my 3 to 5 lineups. I can save 20 lineups, come back to them later, combine them, okay, let's take a look at Ranger stacks. Let's take a look at lineups that have Ober in it. Like, I mean, if we put in the Dodgers, I mean, if we're playing the Dodgers today, obviously you're going to have to, in order to fit some of the Dodgers in, you're going to have to play a cheaper pitcher. I don't mind Bailey Ober in the lineup, but I want to maybe exclude Byron Buxton, maybe exclude Bobby Witt, right, as one-offs, right? So I'm locking the team stack of Dodgers, excluding Buxton and Witt as one-offs, right? Because it's obviously not going to be in the stack because I'm locking in the Dodgers. And then let's see what these lineups look like. And let's see how they rate. I mean, we saw some of them before, right? I mean, here you go. Lineup 1, 91, 89. Yeah, these are perfectly fine. Carlos Correa is a one-off. I mean, I don't mind as much, only because Bobby Witt's going to be more owned in the shortstop spot. But here you go. Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez. Then one-offs of Joe Adell, Carlos Correa, and Will Wagner. Little punt at third base. Perfectly fine. And this has Bailey Ober in it. Sanchez Ober. Bassett Ober in this lineup. Fat Fought, whatever his name is. I don't mind playing Drew Waters as a one-off. Right? I mean, a cheap guy in the Royals lineup. Don't mind that. No, these lineups are pretty. These lineups are absolutely fine. Tons of them. Here's one with the Phillies in it, right? Because we have the Phillies as underowned also. Sanchez, Ober, Will Smith, Enrique Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Hernandez, Pajes. So basically, you're not playing Betts or Ohtani. You're playing Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber. This is a little contrarian, but definitely doable. Right? So we could look at all these lineups. So I mean, I could look at, so for instance, let's say I wanted the Twins today, Minnesota, but I want to make sure Buxton is in the lineup. And I don't want to play over since I think the Twins are going to be probably overowned today. So I probably don't want to play an overowned pitcher and an overowned stack together. And then I can take a look at these lineups. What do these lineups look like? You would do this much more closer to lock. Obviously, when starting lineups get updated, it's going to be mostly the same. I mean, it's not like NBA where things shift so much that you might as well just throw everything out and start over again. But you could research this earlier in the day. I mean, look at this. I could easily play this line. Look at lineup 1. Dustin May, Christopher Sanchez. So a little bit contrarian pitching combination. Ty France, Julian, Brooks Lee, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton. Ohtani, Hernandez, Sal Perez. Done. I mean, I could save this. Done. That's a lineup. That's a playable lineup. Here's a Bubic Bassett lineup. The twin stack, India Witt, and Pavin Smith, I guess, is a one-off here for the Diamondbacks. Perfectly fine. Here's another one. Bubic Sanchez with Freeman, Edman, Chorio around it. Here's a Twins-Dodgers lineup with Bailey Falter. I don't know about playing Bailey Falter, but whatever. This lineup rate's high. You get Bailey Falter against the Angels. I don't know about that, but I mean, hey, the Twins and the Dodgers get there. I don't know if it matters, right? Here's a Bubic Sanchez lineup. Another one with Pavin Smith as a one-off. Taylor Ward is a one-off. Right? Here's one with like Bobby Witt as a one-off. Like these are the type, like maybe even though the Sims have this is a very good lineup, but I don't know if I want to play Buxton and Witt together without them being, without one of them being in stacks. Because Bobby Witt does well, the Royals do well. I mean, it's quite possible the Twins and the Royals both do well. They both put up 12 runs. You're going to want to have a mix of both of them anyway. But you see here, a lot of the pitching combinations are not like the. You don't have to. There's no like two you have to play. We're getting a lot of Sanchez, Bubic, Bassett, Ober, May. Pretty much. Whichever two you want to play between those five. And May is not like May. I mean, May is just an under-owned pitcher. He may only be like 10% owned today. Brandon Pfaadt is in that range. So is Jose Soriano. I would not sing that much Jose Soriano here. But if you want to play Bubic Ober, then go play it. That's probably the chalkier combination. But you want to play Bubic Ober, Twins, Bobby Witt? I don't know about that. I mean, there are some lineups that kind of look like that, but typically, if you're playing that combination of hitter, like you're not playing the twin stack. Hence why getting a slightly different a pitcher, playing a Dustin May. It's Chris Bassett. I mean, it's quite possible Chris Bassett, we have him at 19% owned. It's quite possible he only comes in at like 15% owned. But we're getting a lot of Bubic Sanchez. The Sims prefer, if given a choice, Bubic Sanchez. But like I said before, Ober we have is over-owned, but he's still showing up in tons of plus EV lineups. So I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to avoid Bailey Ober today. And this is kind of how you use SimLabs, which is what you should do. If you're a Combo Light member here at RotoGrinders, this is their cheapest package, $29.99. It's way too cheap, in my opinion. You get full access to SimLabs for the 4 major sports. You get our research tools like Plate IQ. You can research all you want about pitchers and hitters. We have all the advanced data for that. So you can dive in, spend hours researching anything you want, as well as all of our premium written content, such as the consensus value rankings, expert surveys, and Cheese's Goods $1 million musings that he writes every single weekday, all for one low price. Click on that link in the description to get more info about that. I pretty much lasted 20 minutes. You can see my voice. It's getting there, right? It was like 15 and then 18 minutes. We're getting there. Soon I'll be able to do 25, and it doesn't sound like my voice is turning into a frog. But you know how you can help that out? Hitting that like button on your way out the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live on the channel. Grinders Live, 5 p.m. Eastern later today, followed by Crunch Time. Roth will give you that update on the Chicago game, on the Atlanta game, I guess on the Kansas City game, even though he has it at green-yellow. I don't think there's any problems with that game. But definitely tune in later, and I'll see you tomorrow for another MLB SimLabs analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.